Hello Stamper, welcome to Frenchie's video. I'm France Martin, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up at frenchiestamps.com. Today it's all about the linen paper. This is a new paper we got last year and I wanted to do some stuff with that, put it that way, some technique, and I didn't get around. And now it is time that I bring this to life. So in the annual catalog 2022-2023, it is on page 139. It is the linen paper. It is acid-free and linen-free. So you get 2 sheets of 12 by 12. This linen paper, it is self-adhesive, meaning it's the sticky part in the back. So it comes 12 by 12. And very simple to cut. So this is the linen side. I like to have the linen side face down and then cut. And the reason why I think it slides better. That's it. But it's no right and wrong, okay? Boom, it is done. And don't worry, if this happens, just take your scissors, and it's normal because it's really linen, right? So, okay, that's how you're going to cut it in strip or pieces that you need to make cards with your paper trimmer. Now, I try many things with it. So, this is going to be the basic, and on my blog, I will share those different technique with it down the road. But today, I'm going to share a bits and piece of everything that I done. One thing that I'm going to say, it's not friendly with a punch. Absolutely not. I try a different punch, and I'm going to say, not so good. So usually I mount the paper on a cardstock. I tried the thick cardstock. It don't punch right. I tried the regular cardstock. I don't know where that piece is, or that's this one. Don't punch good at all. And then I try without any, so this is just the backing. And so in another word, I don't think that the linen paper is friendly with a punch. It is friendly with a die, though, okay? So now I'm going to leave that aside. So that's about how to cut it. So cut it, you can use your paper trimmer. Any dies, I try intricate dies, I try it, and it works. See, even with the stitch die or the little pocket, the stylish, what it's called? Stylish shape, it worked perfect. Even the little dots show in it. So, very friendly with the die, but not a punch. Now, I did kind of a tie-dye. Very fun to make. I'm going to share that. And I did the masking shadow or the masking reverse. I'm going to share that, and also how to stamp on it, how to put it on a cardstock and then emboss. So let's get started, because you can see I get a lot. So I won't do the card per se, but I'm going to show you the technique. And so the first thing that I'm going to share, I got a piece of cardstock here. And this is cardstock. So if you want to do like this one, you can take your cardstock, put it on your image. Or if you're not planning on using, the cardstock, 1 minute. I had it, here it is. So you can use our masking paper. So this, it's even more friendlier, put it that way, because if you use a cardstock, then you're going to have to put a piece of tape in the back and make sure it stay flat. Now with our masking paper, so I cut that with the dies, and this time I used a quiet silhouette, what it's called, the middle. So this is our paper also, so I didn't remove. Anytime you're going to use ink, I prefer to do all the ink, the spritz or the anything, the tie-dye, and then we're going to put it on a paper. So we're going to put this right here. Whoops. And this time Instead of spritzing it with blue, I'm going to spritz it with brown. So, I'm going to share with you when I spritz it and not putting sticky in the back. So we're just going to leave it like that. So my spritz bottle, I use 91% alcohol. Okay, I tried that with water, the same with the tie-dye, and I don't recommend it. And I'm going to show you why I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it because the sticky don't stay in the back. So I had, okay, we're going to find the sheet here when we move the stuff around, I'm sure. Well, that is funny because I had it here. Oh, here it is. I knew it. So this one was done with water, and see, the adhesive don't stay there good. But if you use alcohol, it stay there. So I got, this is the masking paper. Oops, let's put that back there. So you can use the cardstock too, but like I said, I like the masking paper because it's very stay flat. Now, I fill that with alcohol, and I use about 3 drops of re-anchor. This is a soft suede I put in. The other one was Night of Navy that I have put in, and I use about 2 drops. So all depends. If you want it darker, add more re-anchor. If you want lighter, just add less. And you can test it on a piece of scrap paper, like, let me grab the paper here. Here we go. So you can always, you know, test it. Okay, is that the color you want? For me, yes, because I want something like vintage. Now, what I'm using in the back here, this is what the designer series paper come, and I kept the plastic on this, so it make a very nice surface to work. Now, we're going to bring this here, and I like to go about 12 inch, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to let that dry. Let me change the battery. I will be right back. Okay, I'm right back. The battery was flashing. I'm like, what a perfect time to do it. Okay, now we're going to remove this here, and you see how it curls. Sometimes it curls even more than that. So the next one, I'm going to share what to do so it don't curl. So we're going to do the tie-dye. So let me remove this. And so I'm just using bits and pieces here to show you, okay? So this one, I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to cut this in 2 here. So this measure 4 1/2, so 2 1/4, right in half. Because it's a few things I want to share. Here we go. I don't want to run out of paper. I'm using glue dots. And again, this I didn't remove the backing on this, okay? So I'm putting glue dots in the corner. And you see I still have some glue dots there from the other one. For me, this worked wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that right here. Okay? Now, for the tie-dye, this is how I done it. Okay, I put re-anchor on clear blocks. And now I'm looking for my, here we go. This here, it's filled with alcohol, again 91%. I'm going to go ahead, oops, one thing, I forgot one thing. You want to spritz your paper first, because that's going to help it. And the reason alcohol, well, it don't remove the adhesive. And number 2, also, it dries super fast compared to the water, okay? And you say, well, maybe I can still use water with this and add adhesive. Well, be careful because the adhesive would come through the, because really it's a linen. Now I'm using this, get the alcohol in it. I'm going to spread that there, and I'm going to drops. That's how I done my tie-dye. See, I just did some drops. it really looked like tie-dye, right? Now, when you switch color, use your rag, wipe this, and again, you want your brush to be saturated with alcohol. And then I'm just gonna sponge, or not sponge, but squeeze it. Now I got Melon Mambo too over here. Now I'm gonna go again, do it with Melon Mambo. It really make it look like, and then you can touch the paper if you want to get little place. But you see they're very dark, so you can come back and add some color. That's what I done at the end. I went and add color, oops, where I didn't have enough. You don't want that. I don't like that look there, that big dark. Here we go. Now I can go add a bit more blue here. Et voila. So then you would let that dry completely before you can do anything with it. So let me remove this aside. And the block, I just use a baby wipe and wipe that, okay? So this we're going to let it dry. I bet many of you are going to ask me if I can use the heat tool. I prefer to let it dry naturally. The heat tool going to melt the adhesive also. So I would suggest that let it dry natural. And to be honest, alcohol dry very fast, but for this I really saturated that. So let's have that dry. Now, for the stamping, for the stamping to look like that it's going to bleed, like the little one that I done right here. Let me show how I done that. Again, I use my spritzer. Let me bring my... Okay, so I use my spritzer here. So I'm doing a little bit of everything I done with the linen, so then you can start using your paper, right? So I got Old Olive, Melon Mambo, and Daffodil Delight. Now I'm going to start with Old Olive, and I'm going to add a little bit of spritz on that. And the spritz on my stamp, that's what's going to make it kind of bleed there. Et voila. Now I'm going to use the stamp. This is Sending Small, the stamp set, okay? Like I said, I will have the cards. They're going to be posted on my blog down the road here. I'm going to do one at a time, one different technique at the time, so it's easier to follow. Now I'm going to use the top. And that I put quite a bit, but that's okay too. Et voila. So now I'm just going to let that dry. And then again, you can cut it with your, whatchamacallit. Let me think. You can cut it with a die. Okay, we're going to put that aside. Oh, one more thing that I done. I use my marker. Do that at your own risk, because I'm using my marker to flicker, okay? See? And or you can use a brush to the aqua painter. Here we go. So now we're going to let that dry. Okay. Next one. Now to put that on a piece of cardstock, I got a small one here. Let me, that's about 4. I'm going to do a piece. This is almost 4. I'm going to do like 4 by 4 here. So, the best thing to do that I find, it's remove just one section of it. It's very friendly. The adhesive in the back of this, it's very friendly. You can remove it and so on. Now you see, I'm going to use, my hand are very full of ink and everything. And I like to do that on heavy cardstock. You can do it on regular cardstock. I try both, okay? I just like the heavy cardstock. Put it right at the edge there. Now, I keep this up, and then I'm going to press it, and this flat, and then oops, that was my dirty hand, but that's okay. I'm just showing you. And then press it down, okay? Voila. Now, let's say that you add a puck of air, that I call it. You can always lift them back up, see? And keep that down. See, I keep this down, and then you can push it back. But really, even if you get a little crease here and there, I think that is okay. So then we're going to emboss also with that. Okay. Now this piece here, it's pretty much dry. So now we're going to take this piece and put that on the back of cardstock to do the next step. So I could go ahead and, use the flicker on it, or we can stamp. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stamp on this one. So let me grab, I forgot my stamp right here. Oops. There we go. Okay, this stamp set here, I'm going to use the Season of Chic, and I'm going to use just those, the background here. And I got the soft suede. So I'm going to leave my flower there, because I want my flower to stay white in the back. So this, you're going to see, you can go ahead and stamp on this paper also. Very, very lovely. Now, I can even stamp off if I thought, I can add different colors. Stamp on, stamp off. And then I'm going to stamp off. Et voila. So it's just, let me add a little bit right here. It's just add a bit of character, right? Okay, now we can take this flower, and then I can use it for another mask, or I can use it for the inside of my card. So let me remove that. You see the pink around it? That is normal. It's with the alcohol and so on. See here, it bleed blue. So I guess the brown get a little bit of tint of pink in the brown color. That's what happened. This one, it's more like a grayish. I think that just add character, right? So now we're going to take this. And again, it's the same thing. As long as you let it dry, you're good. See, now the adhesive stay in the back of that. But when I use the color, it didn't stay in the back. Now I'm going to put that in the back here. Okay, if it's not straight, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to make that straight. This one is very not straight. So let's say that I don't want to die cut around this one. You just want to, so I'm going to use this. So you know that one of the side of the paper, it's straight. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to go at the edge there. Cut that. This one I go it side up, okay? Going to put that right there, side up, so then I can see where I'm going. Now I'm going to go at 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 1/2. Voila. Okay, 3 1/2. That is 3/4. So 4. No, that won't go. You know what? I don't want a. Okay, I'm going to put that at 3 3/4 here. And here I'm going to go at 3 3/4. Or 3 1/2. Okay, 3 1/2. That's 2 inch. I'm just going to put that like this. Here we go. That's going to be, I'm going to finish a card with that, and you're going to be able to see on my blog. So maybe I'm going to use this with the die here. We'll see how I'm going to finish this one. Okay, now let's bring the die cut machine and let me show you a few things with that. So now it's the same thing. It's no right or wrong. So here I got, this is the meadow. Like I stamped this one, like I said, it's not friendly with a punch, okay? So let me pull you a little bit more out here. Here we go. So now I'm going to put that right here. Like so. And we're going to cut that. And I don't even have to go back and forth. It's very, very friendly to cut. See? And that was put on the back of a piece of cardstock. So I don't remove that. That I'm going to add more glue to glue on my card. See how pretty that is, that tie-dye in that color? Okay. Now I got the decal here. That's a new die. Let me show you with the little one that we done. So it's barely enough, but when you use any type of like square or rectangle, you want to engage that sideways. So let's see if that's going to do the trick here. Like this. Et voila. Now let's engage that, and then you're going to see again. Very simple. Et voila. Oh, and this one, I didn't remove it from the back, so I got, see, I'm going to put that straight on my backing here, on my black, because I didn't put it on a piece of cardstock. Let's see how that's going to do. Usually I like to put it, here we go. I didn't have to have another layer there. Straight on my layer of the black. It just make it, you know what? That make it even look more like the fabric. Okay, so that's how you do with the dies. Now to emboss with it, it's the same than any type of embossing. So let me, whoops. I thought I had it out. One sec. Okay, I really like this embossing folder, the Time Worn 3D. So we just need platform 1. And this one here, it's perfect, I think, for that vintage. So the Stampin' Up, that means face up. Going to put that right here. And then we're going to emboss with it. And roll on. Oops, I was sideways a bit there. I think I got it. Et voila. Boom. See the embossing? Okay, let me remove this. Let me show you more of the embossing. So this one, okay, now we know how to do the silhouette. That was the silhouette, and this one I emboss on top. This here, it's the fabric or the linen right on white, and I emboss the back. This one it's not embossed, this is embossed. This is the masking, okay, like we done over here. And then I cut the frame with the new dies. It's called deckled rectangles. Deckled rectangles. Here is the one that I emboss, and that the posy something something. I will have all name. Here it is. It is the painted posy. This one here, I emboss it and then I cut it. Well, after I cut it, it flat up my embossing a bit, so I realigned that in my embossing folder and I cut it again. I use the blending brush to add the color on this after it was all embossed, okay? Now this I did the same thing. I didn't finish this card, but by error I embossed the wrong side. See, because usually it's this way. I'm like, I'm still using that. So the side that you want face up, it's the side with the Stampin' Up. So this one, my linen was face down. It's still plenty good. So what I done, see all the discoloration? I use Wink of Stella and I just color. And then my Wink of Stella was kind of empty. I just opened this up, remove this top, and add more alcohol in it. So that added quite a bit more to it, and it was loose. So that's how I got all like the rings around. And now I'm gonna put that on top of this, and then I'm gonna put my grading. How simple it is. So now I got a little bit of what I done. See, that was the other one. It's already dry. And also the one that we did here, see, that is pretty much dry. You would be able to add that to a cardstock and then cut it out. I will finish the cards with the tie-dye that I did. So I'm going to have a little bit of everything showing on my blog. But till then, you get an idea of what you can do with the linen. You can stamp also a regular stamp, like just a note that I used the Stamparatus because I thought I would have to go a few times. I just did twice, but you can stamp any type of image on it, no problem at all. So to show you, I didn't really stamp. This is regular, just the linen here. Let me show you. Here we go. So you can stamp. I got this image, the fern here. And I got Evening Evergreen. And I'm just going to do, oops, I have to be careful of that. See, I cover it good, huh? Voila. So you can stamp, absolutely. So you can stamp, you can use the blends on it. Oh, I didn't show you. Yes, you can use the blends. That I would be very, very careful to do the blends. Here what I done. So this one I had masked the dragonfly, and then I stamped my daisy in the back. This, when I stamp in the blue, that I should have kept it in the brown for the vintage, okay? So that's why I tried this one to punch without any paper in the back. It don't work. So when you use the blends, I like to use the fine tip. You have to be very careful because linen, it's not smooth. I mean, it's fabric. So barely touch the paper. Now note that it will bleed. If you see, it does bleed. See? And I barely touch it, but it's still going to bleed. So you go more inside and it's going to go out. And that, it looked like watercolor, to be honest. So you can do pretty much anything on the linen paper, but the punch, it's not friendly. That's about it, my friend. If you like what you see, give me the thumbs up. I will have the finished card on my blog. The link below here. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.